worked extensively in broadcast radio, TV format. He created and hosted the program The Panelist that highlighted the positive aspects of Gary. He is an accomplished storyteller, filmmaker, screenwriter, and playwright who knows a little about the media and race. And now, Mr. Ben Clement.
Thanks, Steve. I want to start off by thanking the Gary Historical and Cultural Society, Mrs. Millender, and all of you for coming out to discuss this very important topic. I'd like to acknowledge the Curry brothers who continue to do outstanding work in the city of Gary and to lead by example. And most important, I'd like to thank my fellow panelists. And for that reason, I'm going to be very brief with my comments because I am really interested in hearing what they have to say about this subject because I have the deepest respect and admiration for each one of them. Does the media help or hurt race relations in America? Well, that's a very difficult answer to come up with because you could be wrong or correct by answering yes or no, depending on the incident, depending on the issue, depending on the time of day. I'd like to preface this by saying, as you heard Stephen indicate, I do work in media. So I have to lend the caveat, if you will, that being a member of the media, you have to take what I say in that regard. I'd like to preface my thesis on this by saying that yes, media matters. But the question is, media matters to whom? Or perhaps more importantly, for whom? Media can definitely do a lot of good. It's necessary. Since its inception in this country, media was intended to be our fourth estate, to keep an eye on government, to watchdog government, as well as to cover current events, to share information for each and every one of us. And perhaps most importantly, to hold up that mirror before society, before each and every one of us, to let us know where society, where our culture is going. That's the intent of media. But somewhere along the line, media became a business. And therein, I believe, my thesis is media matters because it is a business and there's a profit motive involved. And I think therein lies part of the problem. Media was intended to cover issues from a journalistic perspective. Fair and balanced, I'm sure you've heard that before, those Fox News watchers out there. But somewhere along the line, media had to survive in a business vein, which means it had to be profitable. So you might have heard the old saying, if it bleeds, it leads, which meant that newspapers back in the day would always cover car accidents, murders, things of that nature, because it tended to draw more attention and thereby more readership and thereby sell more papers and make more profit. Well, flash forward to the future, to the present day, and I believe that has just gotten out of control. Media is now a multi-billion-dollar industry. So what you find is that old axiom, if it bleeds, it leads, carries the day. And trust me when I say, nothing bleeds more profusely than racism or racial conflict in America. So what you find is media tends to incite because it draws attention, viewership, and thereby raises ratings, makes more money, more profits for the corporations that depend on media, okay? So rather than just covering the story, and my theory is it does this for a profit motive, because people cannot turn off that television if you're talking about race. And I point to the so-called trial of the century, where I believe this really, where the horse really got out of the barn. The coverage of the O.J. Simpson incident showed how media can exacerbate racial tensions. They got way off the issue of the crime itself, or even the court process, and directly into black versus white. That's what carried the day. That's what titillated. That's what attracted viewership. That's what created profits and revenue streams. And that's why it's out of control now. That's why when you see coverage of Michael Vick, O.J. Simpson, the Gina 6, rather than dealing with the issues at hand in a fair and balanced manner, media tends to incite, to raise those racial tensions because that increases viewership and thereby profits. And I believe that's something we all have to deal with as viewers as well. If you find yourself being a looky-loo or attracted to a traffic accident scene by looking at this coverage as entertainment, then you're part of the problem, I believe. Because that's why they do it. If that didn't attract viewership, trust me, they wouldn't do it. They're chasing the dollar. They're chasing the dollar. And the last thing I want to share before I give up the mic is the fact that journalism, journalistic media, has shifted and changed as well. The lines between pure journalism, entertainment, if not outright punditry, have been blurred, if not exacerbated altogether, destroyed completely. When you look at a Fox News was, in my opinion, was created for this reason, to do a personal slant on the news. And then they advertise, I believe falsely, fair and balanced. Fair and balanced, okay? But what you have here is an organization under the auspices of being a journalistic organization, a news organization, giving you stories, news information with a particular slant. That runs contrary to the original creation, the original establishment of the Fourth Estate, which is our media, which is there for our benefit. That runs contrary to that. And once again, you have pundits like a Bill O'Brien that were said today. Because there's power in these words. There's power in these words. And rather than just sit back and be victims of Fox News or whoever, why not allow ourselves to be germinated by the positive power that we're hearing today? That what Tony Dungy is doing, recreating his own mentality and sending it out into the world. That's the only way we're going to make things better. When you hear something good, something that sounds, something that's godly, replicate that. Send it out. Encourage others to take this message forward. We're not just sitting here talking and beating our gums. We're sharing thoughts, ideas. We're raising consciousness here. I think that's important.
We got a couple more audience members. I see. Oh, he's first, and I just want.